So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, you missed Transfiguration Sunday. We told the story from Matthew's Gospel of Jesus and James and John and Peter going to the mountain and having a mystical experience, a profoundly spiritual experience, something based in history or something completely fantastical. Some kind of experience. Jesus is transfigured. He shines like the sun, his clothes, his face, and he is suddenly in the presence of Moses and Elisha, and they talk together, and Peter and James and John are overwhelmed. Peter imagines building little booths for them. They could stay there. But that's not what's going to happen. Jesus isn't having that. And then there's a cloud with its own light, and the voice of God says, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am pleased. Listen to him." Or something like that. That's what we celebrate on Transfiguration Sunday, that story, that moment where we recognize the communion of Jesus with the law and the prophets, the Jewish tradition. The moment we recognize that God's presence is here with us. God's voice is heard. We are instructed. We are told to listen to Jesus. We are told that he is beloved. There is in this story as if there were no separation between the human and the divine, the natural and the supernatural. So we heard that story today. We heard Peter refer to that story as well. In 2 Peter, when he essentially says to them, I know that you think there are mythical mystery stories going around, but this happened. I heard the voice. We saw it. It is real. So we can infer from that, though, that there were questions going on in that first century. Around the year 65, there were people wondering if perhaps this isn't all a little bit fantastical. Wondering perhaps if maybe we could be a little more reasonable. And Peter says, I was there. We're not making that up. And so we're confronted with that same witness today. We hear the story, and it's easy for us to imagine that it's a misplaced resurrection story. It's some kind of metaphor, allegory, and surely there's meaning in all of those things. But Peter says, no, I was there. I saw it. And as hard as that is for us to believe, well, today at Jubilee we tried to imagine it, not as an allegory, not as a metaphor. But what if it happened? We heard the story from Matthew's Gospel. We revisited those words and added a saxophone. We created a little bit of word and music, poetry, jazz. We played with it a little bit. Because surely the experience was more than just something that could be written easily in words. So Daniel and I put our words and our music together and created something. And then I wondered about transfiguration, about transformation, and whether Jesus changes at all, or whether Peter is the one who changes. Peter, James, John, you and me. Is it so much that Jesus becomes this dazzling, glowing Messiah, or is it in this moment, Peter's eyes are opened, his heart is opened, his way of being is open, and he recognizes Jesus for the first time. Recognizes God's presence in a profound and real way. Because once I see you in a new way, it's not just you that's changed, it's me that's changed. Once Peter sees Jesus in this new way, it's not just Jesus who's changed, but it is Peter who's changed. In fact, the whole world changes because now Peter knows that everything that Jesus has been saying and been doing is grounded in God. Not just what he hopes for, but he has now heard it. It says in the gospel that they were afraid, and we imagined that they might have been afraid because sitting around talking about God, not a problem. But living as if the words are real and true, living as if humanity is something that fills us and is part of creation, that divinity, holiness is in fact all around us. Living that way is hard. It might make us need to talk to people we don't normally talk to. It might require us to love when we would rather withdraw. It might require us to recognize all of creation, all of humanity as our brothers and sisters, worthy of love and respect, beloved children of God, to whom we should listen, even as we hope that they will listen to us. Yeah, we had a lot to talk about today on Transfiguration Sunday, and I'm sorry that you weren't here to be part of the conversation today, but think about it, talk about it, and please come and see us soon. We miss you. Till we see you, God bless.